What's going on, everyone? We are here live at PAX West here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm here with our friend Thierry, and we're going to talk about The Messenger. It just came out 2 days ago. You must be so happy.
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling, man. It's our first game, with Sabotage, so yeah, man. We're just living the dream
great.
right now.
Yeah. It's been really wonderful to watch the progression from the last time we talked in February or March at PAX East. And even just seeing the change of the look on your face is you look so much happier and more relaxed and more excited to be here, and you must be really, really proud. So tell me what the last few months since the last time we spoke, what does that look like? What has the work been like? What has your weeks been like?
Yeah,
what has been going on at Sabotage?
Well, the work has been something I wouldn't recommend to anyone.
Yeah.
What happened is, so I sat with the team, right, and it was like, look, guys, we need to come out at the end of August. And so here's a proposition of a version of the game that we could probably do by then with a healthy, schedule. And they're like, yeah, okay, then what's the unhealthy one? What's the version of the game that we would do if we just went all in? And I'm like, well, it's this, but then it's pretty crazy hours. And they're like, yeah, that's what we want to do.
Wow.
So just together as a team, we just all decided to just make the game as great as we could make it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man. And so as a reward, we flew everyone to PAX. So the whole Messenger team is here with us.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're just, partying every night and handling the booth during the day and just having a blast, man.
That's great. I've been playing for the last 4 days straight, almost nonstop. And we'll talk more about the game in a little bit. But one of the things you mentioned earlier was the progress since the last time we spoke. There's been a lot of stress, there's been a lot of work, there's been a lot of time invested into making sure this game came out within the schedule that you wanted it to. What were those moments, the moments of challenge, the moments of doubt? What did those look like, and how did you push through that? Because that must have been really hard.
Yeah, well, so for me, there hasn't really been a moment of doubt, because the way I do it is I always defer to the team.
Yeah.
And so whenever there's a hurdle or there's a thing I don't feel like doing or whatever, I'm like, I owe it to them. Because if I don't show up and do my thing, then their work won't be shown to the world.
Right.
And I that won't do, right? So that's what really pushes me.
Yeah.
But for them, I don't know how they do it. They're just every single team member is just so amazing, so passionate, and I bring these ideas that really come from a kid's mind perspective, and they could easily just make fun of them, but they work on them with care and respect, It's really been a journey, man. I'm really emotional, obviously,
Absolutely.
right now, being so close to the product,
Yeah.
because I've been wanting to make it, since I was 8 years old, and so to see it actually come to life, and being surrounded by these people, it's a blessing every day, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even in just speaking with some of the team, they all seem so passionate. They all seem so dedicated to helping this golden goose, this baby, come to life. So it's been really exciting to even see how they're so invested in. They're so passionate about it. I've spoken to some of the people at Devolver. I've spoken to the people at Pop Agenda. They're so proud and they're so excited. So let's talk a little bit about the game.
Sure.
So right now, as it stands, the game's been out for about 4 days. What has the response been like? What are people saying about it? What's the reception?
It's again, it's surreal, dude. It's like, so we got like many 10 out of 10 reviews.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and all the comments that we're seeing on Steam, on our Facebook page, we're getting fan mail. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about this, because I came into the project because I've been a gameplay programmer for 8 years, right, before starting Sabotage. And I always wanted to be a designer, and I was being told, like, we like you where you are, you know? And so I was like, I'm not a designer.
Yeah.
And it's like, Destructoid gives you 10 out of 10. You're like, I guess I'm a designer.
Like,
now,
I guess it works. Yeah.
So the main thing is that it really helps with, like, culling the self-doubt a little bit, and feeling not so much like an imposter, because you're like, it kind of means, like, if I give it my all, maybe something can happen,
Absolutely.
But yeah, so my main takeaway is, don't let anybody ever tell you who you are, right?
That's fantastic.
And then surround yourself with people who are better than you, and then they help you make it happen, and so
that's great.
yeah, dude, it's like dreams come true, right?
Yeah, the proof is here. The proof is behind us.
Yeah.
The proof is in the people that love the game and have been saying such wonderful things about it. So tell us a little bit more about the collaboration with Rainbow Dragon Eyes, with Eric, and the work that he's brought to the table. What has that been like?
I love
the
this
music
guy to
is
death,
amazing.
man.
The music is tremendous.
So Rainbow Dragon Eyes, whose real name is kind of boring. It's Eric. But Rainbow Dragon Eyes is
I
way
like
cooler.
dragons better. So
yeah, dragons are cooler than Eric. But so he's a technical death metal drummer, and he's a professional musician. He does that full time, legit, like touring Europe, went to Australia on a tour. He's really like touring the world, and as tours would have it, he came to Quebec at some point, and And so Sylvain, our lead programmer, said, "Hey, dude, like Rainbow Dragon Eyes will be in Quebec," because he was playing drums for one of his pirate bands.
Right.
And so it's like, "Hey, let's go to the show, and I'll just try to meet him."
Yeah.
And that was in 2015 when I was working on the prototype with Phil, our level designer.
Sure.
And so I go to the show, and then he gets off stage, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm a big fan of Rainbow Dragon Eyes." He gave me a double high five, and then I go like, "Hey, so we're making like an 8-bit ninja side scroller kind of deal." And he goes like, "Yeah, I'll make your music." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
That's it. It was that easy. He's like, "Yeah, let's just have a beer." So then we went and had a beer.
That's so cool.
And we just became fast friends, you know. And so he worked on the first track that made it into the prototype, which is the Autumn Hills, the first level of the game. That's still the track.
One of my favorites.
Composed 3 years ago.
Fantastic.
And from there we started working on funding, you know. But because we had that prototype, that like one level with like final art, final music, and all of that, it allowed us to go get funding because it conveyed what we were trying to make, you know. And from there, eventually got funded, and everybody started working full time. The team got all together, and now the game just came out. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, the soundtrack is beautiful.
Oh,
he did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I was listening to it on my walk here. I've been listening to it all day. It's addicting.
Oh yeah. So you know how the game goes from 8 to 16-bit, right?
Yeah.
So the 8-bit soundtrack is made in Family Tracker.
Right.
So it's what Jake Kaufman used for Shovel Knight, for example. Yep. You know, it's how you make legit, you know, chiptune.
Yeah, chiptune.
Because you can export it as an NES ROM. Like the soundtrack would play on an NES.
Wow.
And then for the 16-bit, he's using Devil Mask, and that's so you know, like he's playing with the Sega Genesis library. So you know, like that kick-ass bass, more channels, and all that.
That's
so yeah,
fantastic.
We're definitely stoked on that soundtrack for sure. Yeah.
That's great. So you just mentioned that the game does go from 8-bit to 16-bit, and one of the things that's unique about the game is that it subverts your expectations. When you think you know what's happening, when you think you know how the game plays, it tells you you're wrong.
Right.
So with all the things that happen in the game and all the crazy things that occur, what was one of your favorite pieces of the game?
Oh wow! I think my favorite bit is the cutscene in between, like when the game does that shift.
Yeah.
There's like a moment, I don't necessarily want to spoil, but you probably know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which I was really happy with how it came out, you know. And there's also a few things that, in coming to the shows and seeing people's reactions, right, a lot of the humor in the game is kind of like being in the player's head, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so getting that feedback and working that into the script
Yep.
was also really interesting. For instance, the first time you're in 16-bit,
Yep.
you have the Raiden hat, right?
Exactly.
And everyone at the booth are like, "Wow, the hat is so cool."
Yeah.
So I wrote a piece about that in the game, that the shopkeeper is like, "Oh, your hat is so cool."
I can't get over the hat.
And then it turns into like a joke that the shopkeeper is actually wearing it. And it's like, "I got it first," and it's you know. So it's things like that. I really love this contract with the players,
Absolutely.
you know, that everything is like tongue-in-cheek, because in the end, it's just a game, right?
Right.
And so to acknowledge it and then sort of do that handshake so that then we can all indulge in that adventure,
Definitely.
you know, is where it's at for me.
Absolutely, yeah. The writing is tremendous. The humor is so well done, and it speaks to us as gamers. You know, like that's our kind of humor. So it's really, really well read. So what's next? What's next for Sabotage? What's next for you? I know you're working on some other projects. I don't know how much you can tell us, but what's down the road for you guys?
So so this is out. So the next step is for everyone to rest.
Yeah.
The next month will be pretty slow for the team because it's well-earned, you know, rest.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then just we'll see. So the main thing is how the game will be received. You know, we know the critics like it. We don't know that people will necessarily buy it. You know. So if we have the means, we definitely want, like, there's more where that came from, you know.
Absolutely.
So you know, if people are want to see DLC coming, we might get into that. And the other thing is, but for the next big Sabotage title, we can't really announce it yet. But it'll be like, you know, the Sabotage signature will always be retro aesthetics and modern game design. And you can think of the Messenger as the Sabotage take on the retro platformer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's another genre next, maybe not, you know.
We'll see.
But it'll still be Sabotage.
If it has the Sabotage logo, I'm sure, you know, it'll be a work of art. I'm sure we'll all appreciate it.
We'll do our best, yeah.
One thing before we end here, I do want to mention, the last time we spoke, one of the things you wished that players took away from the game was that, you know, they feel like kids again, and they're playing in front of their TV, and they have their shirts over their knees, and they're enjoying themselves. I can confidently say you brought that out in me. You brought that out in my friends. So thank you so much for providing me with that experience.
All right. Thank you so much.
Of course. So we're looking forward to celebrating and helping encourage you guys to do some more and cherishing in this moment. So again, congratulations and job well done.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
All right.
So thanks again for tuning in. Keep it locked right here and look forward to our review of The Messenger, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care.